In the headlines, there's been talk about Jon Jones and Tyson Fury having a fight, and it blows my mind because I still can't believe people are discussing this in the sense of like who would win a mixed martial arts fighter or a boxer, who would win a street fight, and all these different scenarios. And it still blows my mind that people are still talking about this. And I was actually having a discussion about this with a lad from my gym the other day, and he even thinks that Jon Jones could beat Tyson Fury in a boxing match, which still blows my mind. I still think is crazy. So, this is my opinion. Tyson Fury is the best boxer in the world. No one's going to beat him. Okay? Especially Jon Jones, who isn't a boxer. He's a mixed martial artist. Okay, he has aspects of boxing in MMA, what he does, but it is very different. The rounds are different for boxing, the gloves sizes are different for boxing, and all this definitely makes a difference. Now, Jon Jones, like I said, he's going to be doing aspects of boxing, but he's got to do so much other parts of, so much other parts of the training what has nothing to do with boxing whatsoever, where Tyson Fury is focusing purely just on boxing. So of course, if they was to match up, of course he's going to win the fight. I think it would take him a few rounds, admittedly. I don't think it would be Tyson would go in there and destroy him and wipe him out in one round. I think it would take a few rounds. I think MMA fighters do learn enough of boxing to hold their own for the first couple of rounds, and then that'd be it. Best case scenario, first that he would get out of like the first 3 or 4 rounds. Anything beyond that, then I think Tyson Fury would beat him. Now, the best example I can think of this is what happened with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Yeah, Conor McGregor done well in the first couple of rounds, didn't necessarily win them, but done well to hold his own, and then Floyd Mayweather took over. The other thing you got to think of as well was how bad was Floyd pushing to try and put him out of there. Do you know what I mean? He was probably just trying to feel him out first, and then decided to end the fight. Now, like I said, it could be very similar in the fact with Tyson Fury. Now, let's talk about Tyson Fury going over to MMA. So, if Tyson Fury was to go over to MMA and have a fight against Jon Jones in MMA. Now, exactly like I said with Tyson Fury, but instead with Jon Jones is the best, period. Like him or hate him, love him or hate him, whatever, he is the best at the moment, pound for pound, in my opinion, in MMA. He's definitely, again, I think, my opinion, best heavyweight in MMA at the moment, best light heavyweight, whatever division he decides to fight in. So, same sort of weight as Tyson. He is the best MMA fighter. So, even if Tyson was an MMA fighter, Jon Jones is the best at the moment. But, I hit the nail on the head, he's not. He's a boxer. He would get wiped out even quicker than if Jon Jones went over to boxing to fight. If Jon Jones went over to boxing to fight, I think Jon Jones might be able to survive the first couple of rounds. Right? Now, let's just say, for argument's sake, because the rounds, like I said earlier, they're different. Yeah, MMA rounds are a bit longer than boxing rounds. Let's just say, within, I reckon, 2 minutes, 3 at a push, Jon Jones would have Tyson Fury out of there. Now, there's no disrespect to Tyson Fury, okay? I'm not disrespecting him. It may sound like I am, I'm not, okay? Tyson Fury, he's an incredible boxer. He's a tough bloke. He's got an iron chin on him, but there's just so many different ways to win in MMA. All what he'd have to do is take him to the ground. It don't matter how strong you are. If you know anything about MMA Jiu-Jitsu, if you're being choked, you're not going to get out of it. If they've got a choke in deep, you're going to have to tap or you're going to pass out and the fight's going to be over anyway. I really think that he would not stand a chance. It takes so long to learn the different aspects of the MMA, and Jon Jones is the best at it, and he's the best at mixing it together as well. That's what's making him so good. He can mix in his Muay Thai striking so well with his grappling and takedowns. So, let's just spice it up a bit. Let's just say, I don't know, it was a Thai boxing fight, yeah? Jon Jones versus Tyson Fury in a Thai boxing fight. So there was no jiu-jitsu, no wrestling. So it was purely stand-up, but Jon Jones was allowed to use his other weapons. He would still win. Yeah, if you know anything about the different sports, okay, boxers, they're a lot more square on, they're a lot more open for leg kicks, they're not going to know how to check leg kicks, they've never had to deal with knees before, and they've never had to deal with elbows before. So, again, it may take a little bit longer to get Tyson Fury out of there, okay, it might take a couple of rounds, because Tyson Fury's tough. I would imagine he'd take a couple of leg kicks and think, what the hell is that? Like, take a few more and then he might end up losing. So, in a Thai boxing fight, I think Jon Jones would wipe the floor of him again, but it may take maybe 1 or 2 rounds. So, now, let's spice it up even more. Let's just say a street fight. No rules. You can do what you want. Eye pokes, biting, fish hooking, no matter what you want. Yeah, because that's how this first started off, with Joe Rogan saying if them two was put in a room together, there'd only be one person walking out. And again, I'm sorry to Tyson Fury, but it's right. Because of the wrestling and because of the jiu-jitsu, it would be Jon Jones. Without a doubt, 100%. So, in my opinion, this is the best martial arts for a one-on-one fight. If you're having a one-on-one fight and you're fighting someone who's a jiu-jitsu black belt against someone who doesn't know any martial arts, the jiu-jitsu black belt is going to win, hands down, every time. If I had to put money on it, if I had to put my last bit of money on it, all day long, it would go to the jiu-jitsu bloke. Let's just say a wrestler against someone who don't know no martial arts. All day long, it would go to the wrestler. A Thai boxer, it would go to the Thai boxer. Now, a boxer against someone who don't know martial arts, it's going to go to the boxer. But Jon Jones knows his other martial arts. Tyson Fury doesn't. And to be fair, it's so similar to an MMA fight. People turn around and go, oh, all the time they go to me, oh yeah, but a street fight's different to an MMA fight. I don't think there's not a lot of difference at all. Yes, there is loads of rules, loads of things you can't do. But if you actually watch, go, do it now, good, or do it after this video, go onto Twitter, watch 100 street fights, okay, 100 street fights. You don't really see much eye gouging and biting and stuff like that. You see people going to what they naturally want to do as a human person who has no experience fighting, and naturally want to throw fists, or they naturally want to wrestle. And if you're trained how to do that properly, you're going to win each time, every single time. But it's not always a natural thing to bite or to eye poke, and you've got to get close enough to do that anyway. And like I said, people are going to be wrestling, they're not going to let them just bite them, and they're not going to let them just eye poke them. So that's just saying to bear that in mind. Like I said, do the research yourself, watch loads of random fights you can watch, or arranged fights and all stuff like that. People often, they're just going to do their boxing, or it's going to result to a jiu-jitsu match. Now, I think what the reason why Tyson Fury has got so offended by this, and I completely do understand why Tyson would be offended by this, because it's a bit of an ego thing. When someone says that someone can beat you up and you're the best boxer in the world, it's very, like, attack on the ego a little bit. Now, like I said, Tyson would beat almost anyone in a street fight. In a street fight with no martial arts skills, no fight experience, Tyson's going to win against no one with no martial arts experience. In a boxing match, Tyson's going to win, but not when it comes to them other skill sets involved. Now, a good few years ago, the best boxer, heavyweight boxer, was known as the baddest man in the planet. Now, MMA's come along, and now the top MMA fighter is classed as the baddest man in the planet. And to be fair, the top MMA fighter is going to be the baddest man in the planet, because he will beat the top boxer in, again, we've gone over different scenarios for different rule sets. If he's boxing, then no, we won't beat him in boxing. If it's MMA, he's going to beat him in MMA. Look at the super fight they had with Rotang and Mighty Mouse. They done a special fight where they had the Thai boxing rules first and then the MMA rules after. Mighty Mouse managed to get out of the first round of Thai boxing. Rotang didn't get out of the first round of MMA. Okay, it's as simple as that. To be honest with you, I don't know why we're still having this discussion to a certain extent. But on the other hand, I do understand why we're still having this discussion, because let's be honest, who would want to see it? I would want to see it. If Jon Jones went to boxing, I'd be paying to watch that. If Tyson Fury went to MMA, I'd be paying to watch that. And that's why we are still having this discussion. To be honest with you, deep down, I think we all know who would win either fight. Definitely. Maybe if you don't, maybe after listening to me, who am I? To a certain extent, just no one. I'm just a massive enthusiastic boxing fan and MMA fan. I've done a bit of boxing before. I've had a few MMA fights before. I teach MMA and I'm not necessarily biased, believe it or not, to either one. I love boxing and I love MMA. But if you're having a boxing match, you're going to win boxing if you're the better boxer. If you're having an MMA fight match and you've never done MMA before, your MMA fighter's going to win. Especially when you're talking about top of the league. These two fighters are at top of their game of either sport. So no matter who's going to go to what one, it's obvious in my eyes who's going to win it. But let me know in the comment section anyway. I'm interested to know who you think would win this fight. If it's an MMA fight, who do you think it would win it? If it's a boxing fight, who do you think would win it? Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to let us know in the comments, and I'll see you all soon.